So again, guys, I know you can do this because God is fully invested in the process of you setting goals. Proverbs 19:21, many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. Okay, as you set goals and keep yourself in motion, guys, God's going to get you where he wants you to go. So I have found that the way to stay consistent in setting goals is to simply keep taking a step. And by taking a step, I mean that there are 4 areas of life that you should always have a goal that you're working on. And it forms the acrostic STEP. The S in STEP stands for a spiritual growth goal. Like every year you should have some goal of how you're going to grow in your relationship with Jesus and how you're going to become a little bit more mature spiritually. Spiritual growth never happens by accident. It always happens because you decided to do it.
And that I don't carve some time out, and even if I don't do it in the morning, be it when I'm driving home from work, again, I love to listen to music, love to listen to talk radio, sports talk radio. I'll turn the radio on, let's say, in the afternoon going home, and I'll just know that something's not quite right. You know, the day was just tough. Shut that stuff off, and just let God talk to you. You know, it may not be, again, it may not be a Sunday morning preaching or a message that you need to hear on disc or on your iPod, a podcast. It may not even be that. Those are great. I love that stuff.
Right.
But sometimes it's just turning everything off,
Right.
taking those distractions away. And if I don't do that, it's tough to get through the day. I mean, it's like a shot in the arm, you know, that this is what you need. That's where the Holy Spirit starts to talk to you.
Keeps that frustration
And
level down.
yeah, and what my pastor said once, that it's not about my prayer time, it's about your prayer life. You know, you can do it on the way home or driving to work.
You know, I have found over the years of being a believer that I've had times where I did have that quiet time and the benefits of that quiet time, and then there's been times in my walk where I ignored that quiet time and did not have it.
Right.
And the difference that it made in my life.
And it doesn't happen right away either, because you said it, Scott. It's like sometimes we don't want to be disciplined, especially in that area.
Right.
That's right.
But the benefits in the long run,
Huge.
massive.
It makes a world of difference in how I treat my family, how I treat
everything,
people at work, my clients, whoever it may be, the person on the road. You know, all of that comes into play when you do set that time aside for God, and it allows you to connect one-to-one with Him, and then the day does go much better.
The T stands for your team goals. There are some people in your life, guys, that are vital. There's a lot of people in the world. We're up to 6.5 billion at the moment. Lots of people in the world, but there's a few people that are really important to you. They help you function better, they encourage you, they strengthen you, and when those relationships are going well, you're going well. So you should always have a goal in how you're going to grow in one of those relationships.
Confusion comes in when I'm trying to raise my kids more than when I'm trying to be married. I've got 2 teenage sons that are already gone, and yet the playbook doesn't work the same on
Every
each one.
time.
So
Right.
it's like, wait,
Exactly.
this isn't working. And yeah, it sends me to a place where it's
tough,
really
isn't it?
difficult. I start not being successful, and I start really not being able to identify where to get the success. And I even sometimes check out or give up on things for a period of time because I just feel like, all right, I can't win this one right now, and I don't even want to right now. And that is where I've been finding a lot more conflict in my household, is that I know there are things that they're within my power to fix them. It's my responsibility and duty to fix them as a spiritual leader, and then I check out and leave them for another time.
The E is for your energy goals. There are some things in your life, guys, that when you do them, your energy level goes up. And you need to identify what those are. You need to do those on a regular basis. I know that for me, the 2 things that help me is, one, if I'm working out physically. I grew up being physically active. Because of a lot of the emotional turmoil in the home that I grew up in, it was a safe place to go outside and to run and to do athletic type things. So for me, being physically active, it just makes me feel better about my life in all kinds of ways. And second, if I get to read things that I don't have to read. So if I can read a novel, if I can read entertaining things along with the other stuff I have to read for my career, I find that my energy level stays up and I can stay focused on the other things I need to do. And the P stands for productivity. Those are the things we normally think of as goals. So these are the things you want to accomplish in your career. These are the things you want to accomplish in your ministry. These are the things you want to accomplish in your hobby, the things that make you productive in life. And if you go through and you always have one goal in each of those areas, it keeps you moving forward. And again, the goal of having goals is to stay in motion so God can steer you where he wants you to go. It's not to take God's place in life because only God knows what the future holds for you, but it's to keep you in motion. And as you set goals in these 4 areas, there's just a few principles that I want you to keep in mind so that you can be as effective as possible as you write these goals. The first principle to keep in mind is you want to choose goals based on your priorities. For you to have goals that lead you off in trivial pursuits, those aren't really going to help you because they're moving you away from the things that are important in life. So you want to set goals for the things that matter most to you. And then you want to be specific when you choose goals because you want to be able to evaluate these. For instance, to say, I want to be stronger this year is too vague to know when you've actually accomplished it. So instead, you should have some kind of a goal that says, well, I can bench press 150 pounds today. By the end of the year, I want to bench press 175. Now you have a specific goal of where to go. You don't want to say, I'm going to read the Bible more this year. You want to set a specific goal of, I'm going to commit to 5 minutes a day reading the Bible, and I'm going to restart every day. So if you ever miss a day, you don't grind on yourself with guilt and shame. You just start over the next day. Next, you want to organize your life to accomplish these goals. Once you set a goal, you want to start asking, what do I have to do in my life to actually move it forward? Then you want to commit yourself wholeheartedly to these goals. Again, the idea is you want to stay in motion. And if you leave goals in just the idea stage, it's not going to create motion in your life. So you want to say, once you set these goals, you want to put your heart and soul into getting them done and drive towards them as much as you can. And then adjust your goals when it's obvious to do so. Again, all you're doing is moving to the next step in life. And when you get close to that next accomplishment, it's very likely God's going to steer you in another direction. So when it becomes obvious that this was the step to get where I'm going, it's not the main goal of my life, you want to adjust those goals because they're your goals. You aren't locked into them. You don't have to say, oh, I set this goal in my life when I was 25. I can't ever divert from it. No, these are your goals. These are the decisions you're making to keep yourself in motion, so feel free to adjust them when necessary. And so to put this into action, because to know something intellectually and not do it doesn't really help us. So take a few minutes right now. And in your workbook, there's a worksheet that has a place for you to write down a spiritual growth goal, a team goal, an energy goal, and a productivity goal. So take time right now and write down one goal for each of those words that you can start working on this month.